And now, coming to you from Resistance headquarters, it's Off the Grid with the music business heritage, Lindsey Cross Jr. and Marlon Huntsberry, providing the information that you need to thrive as an independent, to build a pliable living and carve out true empowered success.
Knowledge equals empowerment, and empowerment equals freedom.
Welcome to part 2 of episode 2.
Off the grid soldier. Slim did what he thought was the best move for him and a natural progression for him moving forward.
All right.
Now that was the scheme. Again, we trying to wake you up. That was the scheme that they pulled him in with. That, look, okay, the base that you've developed, we can dramatically expand that base.
You mean fan base?
Fan base,
Okay,
yes sir.
okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
I got you.
Yeah, the fan base. What they do is they attempt to tell you that if you sign with us, instead of you selling tens of thousands of units, that you can sell millions of units. But that is not always the case. And like we just described to you, the trade-off is, in 9 times out of 10, you give up ownership of everything that you have in order to get to the masses. That's the trick. That's the ploy that they get you with. They dangle the carrot in front of you, but to get to the carrot, you have to give up. You have to take all your clothes off.
That reminds me of a scene in The Matrix where the guy was sitting down at the table.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was eating that steak. That steak was so good.
Yes, sir.
He was plugged back in.
Yeah.
He was asking everyone to plug me back in because this steak just tastes so good, and I miss this steak.
Yes.
I miss how it tastes, so I want this fantasy.
Yeah, I bought the fantasy, hook, line, and sinker.
Now, in music content,
yes,
you know, you're defining your success based upon what these majors have painted to you over the years.
Keep talking.
Now check it out, Cross. My objective is to convey to the listener that before you can go off the grid, you must redefine success.
Yes.
And set practical goals, such as how many followers can I add to my circle,
yes,
or to my tribe.
Redefining your success does not mean you can't sell millions of records.
No.
It just means that you're setting up your system to work off the grid,
yes,
for as long as possible to build up leverage.
Now they will come after you once you build up a sufficient fan base and buzz, you know, and then eventually they'll, you know, once you sign the contract, they'll take that away from you. It doesn't belong to you anymore. Your MySpace page, any mixtapes, but your fan base belongs to them now.
Yes.
But it's going to be your choice.
Yes.
To either say no, okay, on my terms.
Yes.
Or either say no forever.
That's exactly right.
All right.
Well, that's what Slim Thug did. What Slim Thug did was he said, look, you know what? I was making money before I signed with these majors. There is no reason why, after the major deal collapses, that I can't continue to make money. And that's what he did, man. He put this project together. He's controlling his masters. He got a distributor involved in it. That's great. That's what you do. Now, you can partner up with other entities. We're not telling you to live completely off the land, devoid of civilization.
In a cave.
Somewhere. In a cave. No, we're not telling you to do that. Now, I'm advocating it for some people, just depending on what your genre of music is. But for what he does, he understood that, look, okay, I have a fan base. I have built-in support. I just need to get with the distributor that can help me push it out there. But in doing that, he's keeping control over his masters. Right? Which brings us back to the first part of the show today. That's why the masters are important, because now he dictates what's going on, and he's paid like an owner, not like an employee.
He sold how many this week?
Okay, now his sales for last week, roughly 33,000 units.
33,000 units.
Yes,
okay.
In 1 week.
Go. Okay, just for the Resistor Spiders to understand.
Yes, sir.
What percentage of that record would he be getting from a major label versus what he's getting actually now from the distributor?
Okay, now if he had signed a major deal, he probably would be making anywhere from, let's say, 14 to 18% off retail. Retail could be, I don't know, $12.99, $14.99. Mm-hmm. It varies. But let's say that at the end of the day, he's making $1.25 a unit. Okay, so you just do the math. $1.25.
That's high for a major label, though, right?
Yeah. Well, with him, the way he's doing it, he's got a track record. It's not like he's an unknown artist. He was, he had leverage going into the deal, so they're going to pay him pretty much accordingly. Now, if you're a new artist, if we're not talking about Slim Thug, the bass would be quite lower, all right? But now, that's still pennies on the dollar when you compare it to the fact if he's doing it owning his own masters, more than likely he's making a minimum of $5 a unit.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Let's just do simple math. If he's making $1 a unit and he sold 30,000 units,
that's $30,000.
Versus $5 and he sold 30,000, that's almost $200,000.
It's a big difference, folks.
Off the grid.
Still in
control. And you know what? The beautiful thing about what he's doing and what we're advocating that you do is that as long as that record sells, he's going to be making that kind of money. All right, but before we end this Off the Grid Soldier section, we want to make sure we get your feedback, Resistance Fighters. We want to know your stories. People that you admire that's doing this thing independent, that's rejecting the major label option and saying, you know what, we're going to do this thing independent. Give us your feedback. Let us know. Who's at that car wash popping that trunk and saying, man, look, I got that fire over here.
And it's so
let us know. Now, the next segment of the show is what we call
the dip.
Man, you got to feel that dip. It ain't nothing nice. The dip is a concept that was developed by an author. His name is Seth Godin. He came up with the concept that whenever you get involved in an activity, at first, well, not just an activity, a goal, anything that you have set out aside for yourself to get accomplished. When you first start, you're excited, you're motivated, you feel like you can, conquer the whole world. Then somewhere along the process, a grind starts to kick in. Negative stuff starts happening toward it.
It becomes a strain.
It becomes a struggle. It becomes a dip. Now, the question is, and this is what's so beautiful about what Seth has put together, the question is your goal, is your vision, is your dream worth fighting through the dip? If it is, then even though you have negative news, negative repercussions, everything that you touch is not turning to gold, it's turning to lead. Everything is falling apart around you. People are bailing out the ship. They're saying, man, you need to jump too. No. If the goal, the vision, the promise is what you want above everything else, then you will stick it out. You will find a way to get the water out the boat.
And make it through that dip.
And make it through the dip.
So we always take time out to let people know we are actually going through this.
We live this.
Live it day by day.
Yes.
And we did have a dip this week.
We had a dip.
Here's the one for this week.
All right. Well, Mr. Huntsberry, this is the dip that we had to fight through this week. We wanted to begin uplinking the podcast. Now, y'all see, I'm doing real good because last week I was calling it podcast.
D-O-D.
All right, so podcast. So what we wanted to do was begin uplinking the podcast onto the internet so that we could get it out to the resistance forces, right?
That's correct.
Oh, man. In doing this, we thought we had a plan that was going to work. The problem that we faced was we had budgetary restrictions again. The person that we were going to get to develop the website was not in reach of our budget. There was timing issues, there was budget issues, there was creative issues because we really didn't have the concept down of what we wanted to do with the offthegridmovement.com site. So it was like, okay, what are we going to do? So what do I do? What does Huntsberry do? We don't let a lack of resources stop us. We don't let nobody prevent us from moving forward. This is a movement.
For the rest of this program, click on part 3.
What have you done?
What are you doing?
And what will you do for the movement?
We'll see you guys next time.
Thrive off the grid until you emerge to get back on the grid on your terms, if you so choose.